Hello, welcome to Field 1 here on the back fields of Roger Dean Stadium, home of the St. Louis Cardinals for their spring training. I'm St. Louis Post-Dispatch baseball writer Derrick Goold, joined on the third baseline bench here by Benjamin Hochman, sports columnist at the Post-Dispatch. Benjamin, we learned here that Nolan Arenado is going to be the Cardinals' third baseman. That's how they're approaching things. They have a few more hours before the full squad reports, but they're expecting him to be the third baseman after all offseason of trying to trade him. Does that make the 2025 Cardinals a better team, a different team, a less reset team, and more of a we'll try to contend team?
Great questions, plural. A lot to unpack there. I mean, right away, if Nolan Arenado is better than he was last year, and gosh, he is at 101 OPS plus, 100 is average, so he's just basically an average player last year. You'd have to think he's going to bounce back and improve this year. Then yes, the baseball team he is on is a better baseball team. But, like you mentioned, they're trying to reset, which means they're trying to have other guys who are not in their 30s play and get at-bats.
Yeah, he was also a finalist for the Gold Glove, what would have been his 11th Gold Glove. Had a remarkable second half defensively that really elbowed his way into that competition. We talked to John Mozeliak the other day, and he said you could list 8 to 9 different names that are impacted by Arenado being in camp. What are some to you that of those dominoes, the ripple effect of his return to third base, which we're sitting right beside?
Yeah.
What does that do, and who does it impact most?
Who doesn't is impact, right? I mean, it starts from the DeWitt family and Mozeliak with the financial decisions they can or cannot make now that they have to pay Arenado this year. But then specifically to what you said with Mozeliak, I mean, you just got to start moving guys around the field, right? Gorman was supposed to play third base. Well, now he's at second base. Well, Donovan was supposed to be at second base. Well, now perhaps he's in left field. Well, Nootbaar was supposed to be left field, so now he's in center field. What do you do with Siani? What do you do with Scott?
Well, I thought you were building. Yeah.
I mean, and that's just one thing. We haven't mentioned Burleson. We haven't mentioned DH. So many aspects.
There's also the question about whether or not they put the thumb on the scale for defense then in the outfield or offense, and where that relates to Nolan Arenado. Also, Nolan Arenado throwing now to Wilson Contreras over at first as opposed to Paul Goldschmidt. So, yeah, a lot of different webs that this covers and impacts. I think you touched on it there the most of all. It really puts a place where they cannot be aggressive with free agents. I think you're looking at a team that wanted to add at least a veteran reliever here during spring. When I asked if maybe that changes now and they add that veteran reliever on a short-term deal that might change the look of this team, might bump it up a few wins and maybe more expectations in the standing, the answer I got was they're not going to be aggressive with that.
Yeah. Now the flip side, of course, is as we see often, maybe a young guy gets his chance to be in the bullpen. I know you've written and mentioned Grisepo.
Yeah.
There's a guy who, because of that situation, might get more high-leverage innings to pitch.
And they're also banking on maybe a bounce back from Nick Anderson, who would be that veteran guy, but is here on a minor league camp. Thank you for joining us here on Field 1, right along the third base line, where on Monday, the first official first squad workout of spring training for the Cardinals, and they expect Nolan Arenado to be there at the hot corner. The fourth time that really he's had a chance to leave the Cardinals or not be a Cardinal, and each time he's stayed a Cardinal. I think that is really interesting. We know the clubhouse will be thrilled to have him. That much we know. It's going to be awkward, as you wrote, but it does change the look of this team, and it might change it for the better. We'll find out. For Benjamin Hochman, columnist of Post-Dispatch, I'm baseball writer Derrick Goold from Jupiter. Talk to you soon.